Hi there. Some of you may remember my video response titled, "I don't have enough ignorance to be a Christian," that was posted just after the new year. Well, it turns out that the creator of the video I responded to, Pastor Daniel Fusco, didn't take very kindly to the criticism. In fact, he took the now well-mapped trail of trying to abuse the copyright systems in place on YouTube to have my response taken down. However, in a twist to the tale, rather than receiving the usual DMCA takedown notice, I received the following message from YouTube. Quote, "We received the copyright infringement notification below regarding your video. We believe your content is protected by fair use, fair dealing, or a similar exception to copyright protection. We are writing to let you know that we do not plan to remove your video at this time. You have control over the availability of videos on your channel, including the ability to delete them if you choose." End quote. The same email also included the letter they sent Fusco explaining exactly why they hadn't acted, as well as what he should consider if he still wanted to press the matter. Now, I don't think he will. Not only is the process time-consuming and costly, but I don't think even he believes he has a case here. My usage was so clear-cut in being fair use that it's frankly absurd, as with most DMCA attempts, that he felt cheeky enough to push it. But that's the thing. The YouTube system is broken. It used to always take the side of the claimant and would automatically remove the video, at least until a counterclaim was filed twice, at which point the claimant would have 30 days to respond with a court order, or the video would be restored to the channel. All of which is still bloody annoying, though I guess I should say was bloody annoying, since it seems to have changed. It looks like, at least in some instances, YouTube will actually weigh in on the individual case and rule whether or not a piece is transformative and thus protected under fair use, which is a step in the right direction at least, though I wish they were more active in penalising channels who abuse this system to stifle criticism. But one step at a time. It is, after all, still a major improvement of a thoroughly broken system. And talking of broken things, rather than end the video here, I decided I wanted to go ahead and make another video response to Danny Fusco. I just wanted to show him how unfazed I am by his attempts to abuse the copyright system to stifle criticism. So today we'll be responding to his video titled, "Why is there so much brokenness in the world?" So let's get down to business.
Hey everybody, Daniel Fusco here, and welcome to today's 2-minute message. So it's super unfortunate, but we see evidences of brokenness all over the place. You go on to the television, the computer, you go outside. There's so many things that are broken.
Which naturally begs the question, how can the planning of an all-knowing, all-powerful God be defied? Because that's what you mean by brokenness in this context. You aren't referring to a single entity fracturing into many pieces, but rather a system no longer functioning as it were intended, at least in relation to how you believe the universe exists. If it was working according to the plan or the will of God, it wouldn't be broken. Rather, it would be functional and operational. So to call the system broken, not only must you posit intent, but that intent must also be violated, which, as already noted, thoroughly refutes the whole all-knowing, all-powerful aspect of God as you forward. God either intended it to be this way, and thus it's not broken, it's functional, or they didn't, in which case they're not all-knowing or all-powerful. One of those things has to be true if God exists, so which is it?
And we're so used to seeing it that unfortunately we don't even notice it. But here's the question, why does all that brokenness exist? And the Bible teaches that brokenness exists because our relationship with God has been broken by sin. And because our relationship with God is broken, the way we see ourselves is broken. And then once we have a brokenness in our relationship with God, a false view of God, and then we have a false view of ourselves, then we have a false view of everybody else around us.
Well, that was a whole bucket of word salad. Fact is, a true relationship requires work by both sides. And as an extension of that, it requires both sides to identify themselves, proving their existence at the very least. No God, let alone any specific God, has ever done such a thing. If I want a relationship with someone, then them knowing I exist is pretty important. Otherwise, it's not a relationship, it's called stalking. And that's assuming your God does actually exist, which again, something not verified.
So when you look at poverty, you look at people starving, you look at disease and famine, all of this is an evidence of an upward, inward, and outward problem. Now, I wrote a book called Upward, Inward, and Outward that explores a lot of these things, and you can pick it up wherever books are sold. But what I always tell people is that the change begins. Things begin to be transformed. Things become unbroken when we first fix the upward relationship, which then changes the way we see ourselves and who we're supposed to be, which then changes the way we treat the world. See, when somebody has had their relationship with God restored and sees themselves as a child of God, then you want to start to alleviate all the brokennesses in the world. You want to start to be generous. You want to take your time and your energy to help fix the things that are broken, which is exactly what God wants. And if all of us would have that fix happen, man, what God could do through a group of people who are saying, I want to change the world because God has transformed me. So that's what you do. First, I want you to share this message because we're all experiencing the evidences of the brokenness of the world. And in the comment section, I want you to share, how are you trying to be part of that change to see the things that are broken become unbroken? I also want you to tag people who you see are stepping out in faith to be parts of the solution in a broken world. God bless you today.
What you just said is messed up for many reasons. For a start, we have this idea that God uses this brokenness to test his followers, which, by the way, stops said brokenness from being broken. If it's a test and said test gets them the information they want, that's a functioning system, not a broken one. If not, God either lacks the power or knowledge to maintain a functioning system, most likely due to their non-existence. But if they do exist, as the Bible describes, that leads me on to why this is royally fucked up. Under this premise, God allows for the occurrence of such things as rape, slavery, and genocide just so Christians have the opportunity to do the right thing, and then pat themselves on the back for doing so. I say opportunity because so many do not. Christianity is not some sort of magic element that pushes people to do the right thing. Instead, it's often used to make its adherents turn a blind eye or actively participate in numerous horrors. Every major church has been involved in covering up for child rape at one point in history, and even the Bible allows for child rape rather explicitly, and countless followers just turn a blind eye. Meanwhile, countless people of other religions and none all do great things. And yes, there are Christians who do great things as well. But all evidence shows us that the idea that one requires Christianity to do good or wish to do good is absolute bollocks. Good people do good things, it just so happens that some of those good people happen to identify as a Christian. And I say identify since most of them don't know or understand the contents of the Bible. They've just been raised to say they're Christian because they're from a Christian background. But good people do good things, bad people do bad things, and for good people to do bad things, that takes religion. Or any faith-based system. I'm quite happy to amend that comment. If you knew a child were about to be raped, would you try and stop it? If yes, that is the difference between you and your apparent God. Things start to get better, not on the basis of some sort of fantasy relationship with some unproven entity, but people actually working towards making the world a better place. That's why more secular nations like Sweden and Norway and even most European nations these days are leagues ahead of Christian theocracies. Because Christianity is not a catalyst, it's an inhibitor. So your position is royally screwed on both the premise and the conclusions. So well done there. Oh, and as a final note, fuck DMCA abuse. Hi there, I'd just like to say a few things here at the end of the video before you go. First, I'd like to thank everyone who's ever donated to the channel via Patreon, giving a special thanks to the following people: Hannah Banghart, Matthew Kovac, Brad R, John Schoenrock, Alexander Williams, Ernst Puna, and Daniel Martinez. Your support has ensured this channel its ability to grow over the years, and really is the only thing that manages to keep the channel afloat. I'd also like to ask that you comment down below and like this video, as well as subscribe and follow Essence of Thought on Facebook and Twitter. Please also consider following Atheist Alliance International on Facebook, an organisation dedicated to helping atheists around the globe. Any comments utilising language which insults others on the basis of perceived gender, sexuality, ethnicity or ability both mental and physical will be removed immediately, and the commenter may be blocked on the moderator's discretion. Let's keep this space one which upholds the humanist values. Thank you.